Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
What is up, gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate you. Today, I'm going to teach you an awesome seduction technique to radically ramp up not only a woman's attraction for you, but also her trust in you. And it's the simplest move. I'm amazed more guys don't do this, but you're going to be executing this probably starting tonight because this shit is the shit. And when you pull it off, her attraction for you, her trust in you, her rapport with you goes through the roof. Boys, I have to read this absolutely spectacular testimonial that I just got yet again. I get so many of these, dude. I'm proud, man. I'm proud. I don't want to toot my horn too much here, but goddamn, my fucking coaching program works, dude. It works so well. So this is from Cole, one of my all-time favorite clients, and I have to read this. This is such a testament, such a beautifully written expression of what the coaching program does for guy after guy after guy. And I don't care how hard of a case a dude is. I actually just had a 42-year-old virgin come into the program. We are going to get that dude laid. And I also have a bunch of dudes who are already pretty damn good with women who just absolutely freaking skyrocket their results, become like Dan Bilzerian where they're getting more ass than a toilet seat. It's just an awesome, amazing program that I'm so proud of. So here's yet another testimonial to attest to the efficacy of this program. This is from Cole. Mark, it's difficult for me to completely put into words how much the coaching program has changed my life. I look back at the old me of just 12 short weeks ago, and I see a completely different man in the mirror today. The old me supplicated to women, was way too much of a nice guy, was extremely insecure, and didn't love himself. The new me is the exact opposite of all those things. As I mentioned during our last coaching call, I've been very successful with women over the course of the coaching program, and I'm constantly hanging out with the exact type of women I want. I've learned the skills necessary to get the women I want in my life and keep them attracted to me. Living in abundance in all areas of my life is a huge upgrade from the desert that was my dating life just 12 weeks ago. Most importantly, Mark, I have to thank you for the NLP processes that helped me learn to love myself again. I've been able to completely trash all the old limiting belief systems that were holding me back. I can't describe how much having the weight of self-doubt off my shoulders has improved my life. You're an absolutely amazing coach, and I have zero regrets about joining your program. You're a legend. Vikings will drink beer named after you before going into battle. Songs will be sung around campfires for generations to come. And my first tattoo will be a picture of you right on the side of my face. Cole, absolutely love you, brother. You are a goddamn legend. Thank you for trusting in me. And thank you for trusting in yourself that you had the fucking balls, the cojones, the courage, the masculinity to face your fears and realize that fear is just false evidence appearing real. And to get back to that self-esteem that you were born with before other people came and messed it up for you only took a small amount of self-belief and belief in me, and together we got you to the top of that mountain. So thank you so much. Amazing testimonial. This will be on my website as soon as possible. So gentlemen, today we are going to talk about the concept of Instadate and the concept of moving women. So what this has to do with is the psychological phenomenon of building trust with somebody when you go into their quote unquote territory. So by moving a woman from the place that you first open her, even to just 10 feet away into a place that you choose to go to, builds an immense amount of trust, rapport, and connection that wouldn't be there unless you moved her. So the most basic example of this is in the bars and the nightclubs, where when I'll meet a girl, I'll purposely meet girls at places that are not so convenient for talking, such as next to a big speaker. So what I'll do is I'll purposely place myself next to this gigantic speaker that's actually next to this girl's bathroom. When girls are going by, I'll yank them over, I'll start talking to them, and I'll say, hey, you know what? The speaker's a little bit loud right here. Let's step over here and talk a little bit more. I will literally move them 10 feet, and if I have enough attraction, I'll put on my hand, grab her hand as we do it, and I'll move her into my own habitat, if you will. So basically what I'm doing is I'm moving her to a different location, leading her, as I always tell you guys about, and bringing her to a different location. And in her eyes, in the subconscious, in her psychology, she's actually coming into my territory. It's kind of like the old caveman who meets a woman out in the woods and he's like, "Ugh, come over to my cave." And then she comes into his cave and that trust is built immensely, particularly if she doesn't get beat over the head while she's in said cave and she survives the encounter without any bruises to show for it. And it's kind of the same thing. It builds trust by moving a girl to a different location. I do this all the time in day game too. I'll meet a girl on the street corner where cars are coming by and I'll be like, "Hey, it's a little dangerous right here. Let's step over here and talk." And I'll simply move her 10 feet away. And like I said, if I can, if there's enough attraction, I'll be like, "Come here, give me your hand." And I'll just walk her over to a different location. When it comes to supermarket game, I have a phenomenal way to do this that I'm going to share with you in a second. But then when we go back to nightclubs and bars, I'll move them to my table. I'll move them to where my friends are. I'll even say, "Hey, let me introduce you to my girlfriends." Move them over to these girlfriends, which of course shows pre-selection because they're all fine. And she knows that I have hot girlfriends, which makes her more attracted to me. But just by moving the girl, even 10 feet, better yet 20 feet, I feel the greater the distance, the more rapport is being built. This too is why I'll take them to a diner after the nightclub. Like the nightclub will be closing. I'll be like, "Hey, my girlfriends and I are going to this diner. Why don't you roll with us?" If she comes out to the diner with us, it's what I call an Instadate. And that's the next thing I want to discuss with you guys. Instadate is just as it sounds, an instant date that you have the moment you meet her. Have you guys ever been in the supermarket, Barnes & Noble, or even Target, and you see that there's a Starbucks right there? Have you ever thought about what an awesome opportunity those tiny little coffee shops are when you are shopping at a supermarket? Think about it. If you meet a girl and you guys get a drink together right there at Starbucks the moment you meet her, or I should say a few minutes after you meet her, don't you think that's a lot better than just trying to get her number and take her on a date later? Of course it is, because you're building rapport, you're building connection, she gets to spend time with you, you get to feel her out, use more of your gambits on her, qualify her. She gets to tell you about herself, which will justify in her mind why she likes you, and this is the magic of the Instadate. So I'll purposely go to supermarkets, bookstores, or any other place where there's a coffee shop nearby. And when I'm talking to the girl, I always say this. I always say, "Hey, listen, I'm actually dropping by Starbucks. It's actually right there to grab a quick drink. I got to get out of here in a second, but why don't you join me? It's on me." Okay, so what I tell her is I have to get out of here in a second, but the reason I do that is because obviously she's living her life. I doubt many women have hours to spend at that exact moment they happen to be shopping to spend time with some random guy they met, but certainly they have 5 to 10 minutes. And if she likes you, she's vibing with you. And if you tell her, "Hey, I'm going to go grab a coffee real quick before I leave. Come on, it's on me." Most of the time they'll say yes. So now what's happening? The same concept that I explained previously of moving her. You're moving her over to Starbucks. You guys are standing in line together. You're continuing to bullshit. You show your charisma to the barista who's taking your order, which is called staging, which I've talked about on this podcast many times before, demonstrating your charisma, your social skills, your confidence. I'll even toss like a $5 tip into the tip bucket to show that I'm a generous man. And then we talk a little bit more until we get our drinks, and then I'm the one to cut it off. So basically, it's a quick, "Hey, let's grab a quick drink." If she has more time and it's going really well and I feel like I can really extend the Instadate, then yeah, we'll sit down and we'll have an Instadate. It's like a date immediately. And you do this by first simply opening the girl, talking to her, getting a little bit of attraction, getting a little bit of rapport. And then on a high note, when she's laughing, I cannot stress this enough. When she's laughing, you say, "Hey, listen, I'm actually jumping to that Starbucks right there. I got to get out of here in a second. I have a really busy day, but come on, I'll get you a drink and then we'll part ways. What do you think?" And a lot of times they'll say yes. So now you're walking to a different location. Now you're going on a date, you're treating her to a drink. And yes, boys, I do suggest you pay. It's like $5. What's the big deal? Tip the barista, drop some charisma bombs. Even better, if the barista knows you, which many of them know me because I do this all the time. And even with some of them, I clue them in that, "Hey, this is kind of my Instadate place. I'll keep tipping you if you just kind of shut up about it and not say, 'Hey, weren't you here with that blonde yesterday? And then the day before that, a brunette. And then 2 days before that, an Asian chick, and then like 16 other blondes over the past 3 weeks.'" You'd be like, "Shut up, you idiot. You're blowing me out." You always want to make sure that you tip waiters, baristas, and anybody else helping you really well because they will blow you out. Oftentimes, they're peanut butter and jealous of your success with women, so they will fucking blow you out. Believe me, it's happened to me many times, which is why now I treat bartenders, baristas, waitresses, whoever it is, really, really well because they will blow you out. So that's the concept, boys. You want to move the girl if you can. And seriously, like 5 feet, 3 feet, a foot, an inch, just be like, hey, listen, let's move an inch to the left just because the speaker's really loud. It's blowing my eardrums out. I can't hear anything. Just move an inch to the left. Of course, I'm kidding. But seriously, in the psychology of human beings, if you move somewhere with somebody, it builds rapport. It builds trust. And that's what we're trying to do with these girls. And if she comes into your territory, you're in control. It helps you control the frame. This is why I love to bring women over to my table if I happen to have one, if they give me one for free. I ain't ever buying $1,000 table at a nightclub that has some cheesy ass Grey Goose, which I don't drink anyway, and some other bullshit like Red Bull shots and crap like that, so they can overcharge the shit out of my credit card so I can feel like a VIP. I don't think so. I like to go to places where you can just grab a table, and I'll tell you what, when you show up with 3 9s, they usually just give you a table anyway. So if you have a table, dude, bring girls to your table. Like the next time you're going out to a party, a bachelor party, whatever, something with work, and you guys have your location, you want to bring girls to that location. Sit down with them if you can. Build alliances with them if you can. Introduce them to your friends and to other hot girls if you can, and show them a good time in your territory. If you're gaming in a place where there's a Starbucks nearby, a Cold Stone ice cream place nearby, a Jamba Juice nearby, wherever you like to go, that's quick, cheap, and easy, yank the girls over there. And I always say, hey, I got to get going in a second, but. And that's really important, boys, because it's called a false time constraint. And false is because you don't really need to go, but you're telling her that so she doesn't think you're going to stick the conversation and sit there for like 2 hours trying to talk her ear off. You're showing her that you're an in-demand dude and you got to dig out ASAP. So we'll do this real quick and then we'll part ways. How's that sound? Most of the time, I'm talking 80% of the time, they're going to say yes, especially if you do good in the first conversation. Now, always you're focusing that first conversation. I want you to be in it about 3 to 5 minutes. Once it's on a high note, then try that. If there is a Starbucks nearby, take her over there. If you're really feeling it, particularly in the nightclubs, I don't really do it in the coffee shops where I grab their hand. But man, if it's really on and we're driving, I'll be like, come on. It's fun for her. It's kind of romantic. This is the kind of shit that chicks will text their friends about. She's literally going to call her mom and be like, oh my God, I met this guy at the supermarket of all places. And we talked and it just hit it off. And oh my God, there was a Starbucks there. So he suggested we get a Starbucks. And I was like, okay. So we went over there and we got a drink and it was so romantic. And I wanted it to continue, but he had to go. But anyway, he got my number and I hope to hear from him. I really do. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's the state we want women in. Like fucking texting her mom, texting all her best friends. Girls do this, boys. They dream of this kind of shit if you do it in the right way. So let's think outside the box and try to get Instadates going, because your chances of landing a date right there and then are probably higher than you texting her and getting a date later. And when you do the Instadate and or move her to a different location, the chances of her replying to your text go up freaking 10,000%. Because you guys have already had a date. She feels trust for you. Let's not forget that. She's in rapport with you. She feels more comfortable with you because in her mind, she's actually done something with you that makes you feel more like a boyfriend than just some dude hitting on her. Okay, so again, to reiterate, move the girl if you can. Literally, even if it's just 10 feet. Better yet, if you can move her to your location. Even better than that, move her onto the smoking patio or the outdoor area so you can hear better. And that's something I'll do all the time too. I'll be like, hey, it's really hard to hear in here. What do you say we step outside onto the back patio and chat a little bit? And they'll often say yes. That is really powerful, particularly if I can have some girlfriends out there already and be like, hey, this is my friend Ashley. This is my friend Lindsay. Ladies, this is Kelly. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Then I chat her up. Oh my God, that's powerful. Or just move her to the bar, move her to your table, move her anywhere away from where you happen to be because it's inconvenient. Then when it comes to the Instadate, you can do this in supermarkets, bookstores. Target, for God's sakes, has a Starbucks in it. My local Target has it, and I bet your Target has it too. Or outdoor malls where there's like a Cold Stone or a Jamba Juice or a Starbucks or any other Uncle Pete's coffee shop or whatever the fuck. You can yank her over there. In fact, you should approach girls right outside of those places. Open them, chat them up, get them into you and be like, hey, I'm actually jumping out of here, but I'm grabbing a tea on my way out. So why don't you come with me? Come on, it's on me. And I like to say that, come on, it's on me. almost like an assumptive close. And I may even be kind of walking away as I do it, or like urging her to come with me. That works really well. Always assume the close when you're dealing with women. Like, they want you, they're attracted to you, they want to hang out with you. And she has to literally say like, oh, no, I'm shopping. I don't have time to do that. And if she says that, you say, cool, I understand. Well, like I said, I got to get out of here. So how would you feel about tossing me your number and we'll catch up some other time? Grab her number, probably still want to go by Starbucks, or you don't give a shit, you just don't go. And I don't drink coffee personally, but I do drink tea. And Starbucks and the like usually has really good peppermint tea, so that's what I'll get. So I hope this helps you boys. I'm telling you, this will radically increase her trust for you, her connection to you, and most importantly, her attraction to you if you can just do this. And it's such an easy thing to do. It only takes a little bit of confidence. You only have to assume the close to a very small level to convince girls to do this with you. And then boom, the attraction goes up by, I'd say like 500%. It's a massive spike of that attraction, of that trust, of that rapport. So use it. And I hope it helps you out. Gentlemen, I do appreciate you listening. As you know, I am giving a free one-on-one breakthrough session where you can meet with me personally. And I said this in a previous podcast, I'm not going to be doing this for much longer. I'm actually putting together a team that's going to take care of that for me because I simply don't have the time to do it anymore. My clients are my number one priority, and I want to focus solely on them as well as delivering content in this podcast. And it's also going to free up some of my time to put more content on YouTube and maybe restart that piece of shit Instagram again, because that thing gets me 0 clients. All my clients come from this podcast. Now, obviously, it's partially my fault. I haven't done shit with it, but what a useless piece of crap, dude. I've seen fake Rolex watches on the side of New York City streets that are worth more than that goddamn Instagram. But, you know, I'm always open-minded and I'll try it out more. And please don't hit me up being like, I can help you with it. I have a lot of people on my team. Bro, I just haven't had the time. And frankly, I haven't had the desire to do it because this podcast gets me more clients than I can handle. And that's why I'm not able to do the free one-on-one breakthrough sessions with me personally for much longer. So if you've been putting it off, if you want to meet with me, and if you're ready to invest in yourself, both monetarily as well as with your time, hit me up on my website, CoachMarkSing.com. Click on coaching, fill in the short application, submit it, and you and I will get on that call together. And we'll see if we can absolutely change your life the way we changed Cole's life. Cole, thank you yet again, brother. You were an absolute pleasure to work with. And because of you, because of your courage, you were able to get these results. So smack yourself on the ass. You are a goddamn champion. For the rest of you boys, I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays, and I will see you in the next episode.